So I'm wearing my cape on this one because I forgot to wear my cape on the Suicide Squad review, and I was gonna do this thing where it's like a running bit where I wear Batman's cape, and then I'm realizing now that you can't see it. You can't. It's right here. It's right there. You see. So I don't know, man. Trying things. That's a stupid cape anyway. Shut up, Batman! Batman: The Killing Joke, the animated movie, was directed by Sam Liu and it stars Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy, and Tara Strong. And before I get way too into this, I'm going to tell you right now I'm going to talk about spoilers for both the comic book of The Killing Joke and the movie of The Killing Joke. So if you don't want either of those things ruined, get out of here! Now, ever since this animated movie was released, people have been asking me, "Hey Khalil, when are you gonna do a review? Hey Khalil, when are you gonna do a review? Hey Khalil, when are you gonna do a review?" And before I got around to seeing it, I had heard some of the backlash for this film. It didn't do so hot with critics, so I figured it's just gonna be disappointing, and if I review it, I'm gonna just talk about it being disappointing, and by the point I get around to reviewing it, everyone's going to know that it's disappointing. And when I finally got around to seeing it, I just knew that I had to yell about it on the internet. So here we are. The Killing Joke has been one of my favorite comic books, hell, one of my favorite pieces of literature of all time for many, many years. The Killing Joke was a one-shot story that was made in 1988. It was meant to be a new take on the Joker's origin. It points out the similarities between Joker and Batman while also giving insight into the Joker's psyche like never before. With beautifully grim illustrations by Brian Boland, best known for 2000 AD and Camelot 3000. Dude likes his numbers. And it was written by the comic book Mac Daddy himself, Alan Moore! The crazy bearded guy that's angry all the time. In case Alan Moore doesn't ring a bell, let me drop some names on you. V for Vendetta, Watchmen, Swamp Thing, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Believe me, the comics were much, 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 much better than the movie.
What are you? I'm complicated.
The man knows how to write a thing. He's like the Orson Welles of comic books. He's the author of the only graphic novel to make it onto Time's all-time 100 greatest novels. The Killing Joke won an Eisner Award, so I'm not pulling it out of my ass when I say it's a great read. It contained a couple of the greatest written monologues while really looking deep into the characters of Batman and the Joker. Deeper than anyone was really wanting to go. You can imagine my excitement when in July of 2015 it was announced that a Killing Joke animated feature was set to be in production. Then, shortly after, it was announced that my personal favorite Joker of all time was set to reprise his role for this film. Mark Hamill from the Batman animated series was coming back to do the Joker. He's always been the voice of the Joker for me. Like, whenever I read a Batman comic, he is the voice that I hear when I read those panels. Just listen to that performance. Ah, so good. So good. Then, shortly after that, it was announced that his co-stars, Kevin Conroy and Tara Strong, would be reprising their roles as well, of Batman and Barbara Gordon. This was equally exciting due to how perfect that series was, which, that's a whole other video in itself. Literally, nothing could go wrong with this feature. They had the perfect voice cast, they had the perfect writing from the comic book. All they had to do was animate it well. Hell, they even had groundwork for that with Boland's illustration as inspiration. The Killing Joke graphic novel is only 48 pages long, so it only makes sense that they would have to add in time to make it a feature-length film. So with a story that focuses on the relationship between Batman and Joker, and how they are not too different, both making drastic changes in their lives after one bad day, a story that gives what most believe to be the definitive Joker origin story, while also asking the question of what exactly is insanity? What does this animation team decide to do with 30 minutes of extra story? Make a fucking Batgirl prologue. Like, who thought of this? Who thought that was a good idea? And believe you me, they thought it was a good idea. I shit you not, the very first line of dialogue in The Killing Joke was Batgirl's narration of, first of all, I realize this is probably not how you thought the story would start. Are you kidding me? This is a giant kick in the balls to any Killing Joke fan. It wasn't even like the prologue was well done. It was almost like really shitty fan fiction, which is such an insult to the fans. Why? To make the crippling of Barbara more impactful? If anything, it made me lose all kinds of respect for her character. She was way too over-sexualized and just made into basically a bratty girl. Everything about her storyline read as horny 14-year-old fanfiction. This is so insulting to just slap this on top of Alan Moore's amazing writing. Oh, come on. It can't be that bad. Batman, in this prologue, she has sex with you. Oh, what? No, that's so gross. Why? Yep. That's terrible. Yep, I know. Who did this? I know.
I can tell you that in The Killing Joke, Barbara Gordon will not disappoint the fans who have been waiting to see this story. It's completely dark, and she does stuff that she's never done on any series I've ever worked on. I wish I could move on, but I really need to illustrate how bad this prologue is. The main villain of the prologue, which it's not even a prologue. It doesn't connect to the Killing Joke story whatsoever. It's just a 30-minute short. Just slap on top of the Killing Joke. Anyway, the main villain of this mini stupid story. His name is Paris Franz.
We've been up against worse threats than Paris Franz.
One of the greatest written comic book stories of all time. It starts with a villain named Paris Franz. A random goon asks Barbara, "Hey, where's your boyfriend?" To which she responds, "He's not my boyfriend." There's also a homosexual character who can't just be a homosexual character. He has to blatantly tell the audience, pretty much, that he's a homosexual. Just like when they get the first chance. Oh, in case you didn't notice, he's a homosexual and he's going to tell you about it. It's just... oh, man. It's just so frustrating that this has to be played before the telling of the Killing Joke. Which, I guess we could get into now. Guess I'm done yelling about that. So basically they do tell the Killing Joke story as it is. It was fun to see the iconic panels played out, and of course it was really great hearing Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy voicing this dialogue, because when I read it, they were always the voice of Joker and Batman. Hell, I wouldn't mind reading it again while listening to their performances sometime. But remember how I said all they had to do to make this good was animate it well? Yeah, they managed to fuck that up too. A few character models tended to change throughout the film. The movements felt clunky and awkward, almost as though it was just lazily done, or rushed, or even both. Especially with the Joker scenes. He's always been a very flamboyant and animated character, but here he's oddly still, and when he does move, it's so clunky, it just takes away from the experience. They may as well have had one of those motion comic things, like they did with Watchmen. Does anyone else remember that? I own that. I like Alan Moore's stuff. The thing is, the creators of this feature didn't understand what The Killing Joke was. The Killing Joke is a Batman-Joker story, leaning more towards the Joker side. In this, he doesn't show up until a half hour through. One of the main things the comic tried to do was humanize and ground these characters that are typically larger than life. It did that by not ever once using the names Batman, Joker, Batgirl in dialogue, and having other main villains just as background characters. The feature throws out the whole name thing very early on, and basically cuts out all of the villains' mini cameos. The most frustrating thing about this is it should have been great. There's no reason for it not to be. And now we're left with this steaming pile of shit.
That is one big pile of shit.
Probably never having the chance to redo it and get a feature film that's worthy of its source material. I can't even give this film a rating. Like, that's how bad it's hurt me. I can't even, like, rate it. Really, the only saving grace in this is Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill's performances. If you're going to watch this, just skip ahead a half hour, and then close your eyes, or have the book right beside you. Look at it. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I want to read it again. I'm gonna read it again. I'm gonna stop reviewing and just go and read the book. That's the main thing to take away from this experience. No matter what, the book is a work of art, and it deserves the attention of any Batman fan or any Joker fan.
Yeah, but can we talk about the fact that Alan Moore doesn't even like it?
Stop. Don't talk about it.
No. He said The Killing Joke is a story about Batman and the Joker. It isn't even about anything that you're ever going to encounter in real life, because Batman and the Joker are not like any human beings that have ever lived. So there's no important human information being imparted. Yeah, it was something that I thought was clumsy, misjudged, and had no real human importance. It was just about a couple of licensed DC characters that didn't really relate to the real world in any way. Shut up, Batman!
Alright, so yeah, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I think the book is a work of art. You may not. I think the animated film is a piece of shit. You may not. That's the whole thing about this channel. It's all just humble opinions. I'm not forcing anything on anyone. If you like this film, you like this film. I'm just giving reasons as to why I don't, while also trying to incite you on some things. You know, trying to teach you about stuff that I know. We're like the magic school bus, but without a magic school bus. Anyway, I'm Khalil Hacker, and as always, watch movies, my friend.